Action.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Mayhem Matthew. I'm with Ballard Sports Media Christian Ballard of Ballard Sports Media. My bad. This is an emergency live stream that kind of like last minute thrown together. But guess what? This is the Touchdowns live show with me, Mayhem, and Christian Ballard of Ballard Sports Media. As you can tell by the title, the NCAA and its five Power Five conferences have agreed to allow schools to directly pay players for the first time in 100-year history of college sports. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. So if you like this content, smash the thumbs up button. And if you really like this content, subscribe to Mayhem and Christian Ballard of Ballard Sports Media. We are streaming on both of our channels live for you tonight. So let's get right on into it. I didn't break the news, but I broke the news here on the Touchdowns live show. Let's keep on reading here. This is pretty much a summary of what the article said. I'm going to try to keep it short, sweet, and to the point. But guess what? This is a huge deal. And so it's probably not going to be short, sweet, and to the point to all these lawyers and stuff like that. But here on the Touchdown Tuesday show, we like to make it simple for our listeners and viewers. So the NCAA will pay more than $2.7 billion in damages over 10 years to past and current athletes, sources told ESPN. Sources said the parties also have agreed to a revenue sharing plan allowing each school to share up roughly to $20 million per year with its athletes. All Division I athletes dating back to 2016 are eligible to receive a share as part of the settlement class. So the $2.7 billion in damages date back all the way to 2016. In exchange for that, athletes cannot sue the NCAA for other potential antitrust violations. The settlement terms must be approved by Judge Claudia Wilkin, who is presiding over all three cases. There are three cases going on right now. That process is expected to take several months, and sources said schools will likely begin sharing revenue in the fall of 2025. So that is not this year, but the following year. So now that we, got to the point here, Ballard, great to see you today here on the Touchdowns Live Show. What is your immediate reaction?
Why? Just why? I think though, I will say we knew this day would come, Mayhem. NIL. A lot of people thought at first it's pay for play. It's pay for play. No, but don't be surprised if it turns into that. And it has turned into that. It mentions three cases in court with Judge Claudia Wilkin. There are three current cases going on. Now, I'm not going to break every single one of these down, but you have the House versus the NCAA. You have Hubbard versus the NCAA, and you have Carter versus the NCAA, Mayhem. And those three cases all tied together in how we got to where we are today with this. And within the next couple years or so, I hate to say it, but college football is going to be a full time business, and players will be paid to be on the football field. And I'm sure it doesn't just affect football, but even baseball, basketball, softball, all these other athletic, sports as well.
For sure. Me and Ballard have got together a few questions for each other, and we're going to talk about this. So if you like this content, smash a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button on my channel and Ballard Sports Media, as well as we are both live streaming at the same exact time. But this leads me into my first question: is amateurism dead now in college sports?
Ah, well, amateurism has been around for a while. I I would say that, you know, it yeah, yeah, it's dead. I mean, they they're not going after it because of what they love to do. I mean, this is definitely, like I said, it's become a business in sports. You know, it used to be I want to go play the sport because I love the sport, I love the game. But I mean, we talked with and I'm gonna bring this up. Carter Daniels, we talked with him last week, and he dead on looked us in the face. I thought it was so funny when he said, "I'll go to whatever school is willing to pay me the most," and that right there set the tone. I mean, it's kind of ironic that not even a week later, we're talking about how they're fixing to pay college athletes to go play football, go play basketball, softball, baseball, whatever it might be. So I circle back. I try to answer your question here. It's it seems to be dead, but I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna hold my breath on that answer because I'm sure there are people out there that are humble enough to come out and just be honest and say that they are doing it for the money, but at the same time, there's gonna be folks that say, "I'm playing this because I grew up loving the game of, basketball, baseball, football, softball, soccer, hockey, whatever," you know? So, I'm not gonna say it's dead, but don't be surprised if maybe it's not what's popular, if you get what, if you get what I'm saying.
For sure. So, yeah. So whenever I think about amateurism, being in college sports, the first thing that I think of is, you know, amateurism is like, you're just starting out, right? So I'm just starting out my YouTube channel. So
Mhm.
I'm an amateur at this YouTube content creation stuff, right? I don't have thousands and thousands or millions of subscribers. But I'm just starting out. I've been doing it for a few years, but I'm just starting out doing this. And you know, um, I feel like amateurism in college sports is the same thing. Whenever you get into college, uh, you um, you're you're on that grind to eventually be a pro and make it to the NFL, and get your big payday, right? And then you become a pro because you are doing it professionally and you're doing it as a job, right? And I do believe that amateurism is dead in college sports because, well, um, they are hiring these high school recruits. They're hiring them as as workers for the college, paying them, and also getting NIL deals and stuff. So, you know, pretty much you've got to be a baller to be on the field at the respective school because they are investing money. It, like you said, it has now become a business decision. It's not necessarily, how can I get better? It is, you need to be able to get better within your first uh, couple of years, right?
Yeah.
In high school, you need to be already a pro by the time you hit college. So yeah, I do believe amateurism is dead in college sports as we know it. And this is a football channel, so we are talking about football. And I think football is the number one sport right now, especially in college sports. But this does also apply, like you said, to baseball, basketball, hockey, whatever college sports. They are going to be able to get paid by the school. They are going to become employees of the school, and they're going to be able to be paid, right, by the school. And also, from the way that it sounds, that they're also going to still be able to receive NIL deals, also and too, right? So yeah, amateurism is completely dead. It is not, the college football that we know it. Before was, you put that grind in college for 3 or 4 years. You grind, you grind, you grind, and you put in some hard work, and then you finally get your payoff whenever you get drafted, or you become undrafted. You get picked up in the free agency, and you get your first break as a professional. That's what you do for your job, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, to summarize this, yeah, amateurism is dead in college sports.
Now, would you agree with this comment here before I get into my first question for you? This is my friend Adam from church. This is Super Syrian Rigel. He says, I don't think it's dead, but plenty of people are stabbing it as hard as they can. And it is about dead. A few people out there are still fighting for it, but it's a losing battle, it seems. What do you say to that?
Well, you know, as far as the business standpoint, because now universities can play college athletes. As far as that goes, I do believe that amateurism is quite dead, right? Because they're going to be making tons of money. As far as like you were saying, like somebody wanting to get better in college and go up the ranks and try to make it, to the NFL the way that we used to know it. Yeah, I'm sure uh, there's some college athletes that are like that. And as far as that goes, then it's not quite dead. But for the majority of when we talk about being an amateur in college sports, yeah, it's dead. Whenever I think of an amateur, I'm thinking of somebody that is just starting out, that is trying their best to get to a spot where they can make money in their profession or their hobby, and perfect that, right? And right now, if you get paid $2 or $3 million or whatever to play in college, that's not an amateur. I mean, give me $2 or $3 million, I'm gonna call myself a pro, right?
Yeah.
So with that being said, also with the NIL deals, I'm assuming, from what I've been reading, that NIL is still a thing. So not only are you getting
Yes.
paid by the universities, you're getting paid by NIL too. So I guess, I mean, by definition, you're not an amateur anymore. You're doing this to put food on the table, to support your families, right? You're doing this as a profession because you don't know if you're going to make the NFL or not, right?
And you see a lot of athletes out there that don't make the NFL or the Major League or NBA or, I mean, you know, there's a lot of guys that might even get picked up as an undrafted free agent, but after 2 days they're cut, bro. After 2 days of training camp, they're done, or even before then. So, I guess, um, how would you? I guess this will lead into my first question for you. Um, or did I already ask this? I should have
Nope.
checked it off, but I'm gonna ask it again anyway. Uh, how does this pay for play for you, in your opinion? Like, just how you view this, Mayhem? How does this pay for play compared to when NIL took hold of college athletics? Like, how are we viewing this big story compared to how we viewed name, image, and likeness? Because when that came out, it was like, whoa, they're going to make money off of their brand. Now and people thought that was pay for play, by the way. And we knew that that would come along at some point. So, like, like, just from your standpoint, your reaction when NIL came out, and then your reaction today when this happened.
I'm going to be honest with you. I really think that my initial reaction when NIL came out was they should have done this first. I think this should have been the first iteration. I think the colleges should have made these players employees of the school, give out contracts, stuff like that, right? And make them employees of the school and pay them that way. I think they should have done that first, and then now come out with NIL deals as far as like getting on a commercial for your name, image, and likeness, or stuff like getting paid for your name, image, and likeness. So I think they did it backwards, but we still came to the same conclusion. We got both of them. I do. Uh, I am in agreement with this. Okay. I know that might upset some people, but if we're going to do NIL, I think this needs to follow. Or I think this needs to be first, but that's not what we got. But I do think this is a better way to pay players, right? If it's going to be pay for play, right? I think this is a better way of doing it instead of just NIL, because um, I do like some of the things that were said in this article. They will um, each school to share up to roughly $20 million per year with its athletes. So they do have a cap. They do have like a salary cap on this. It says, like I said, each school to share up to $20 million per year with its athletes. So they cannot spend more than $20 million with their revenue sharing. They can't spend more than $20 million per year with its athletes. So I think they are doing good with some caps there, and I don't know how I feel about paying athletes dating back all the way to 2016. Not sure how I feel about that, but I
Yeah,
do.
what did that mean? Like, are they saying to go back and pay like Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence and like the Jalen Hurts of the world? Or is that what did they mean by going back to 2016?
So I'm the way that I'm reading it is the NCAA will pay more than $2.7 billion in damages over the past 10 years to past and current athletes. Um, that dates back to 2016. They are eligible to receive a share as part of this settlement class. In exchange, athletes cannot sue the NCAA for other potential antitrust violations. So, in my, what I see from this, yeah, I mean, if you were a football player back in 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, even up to now, you are eligible to receive this payment. So yeah, I do. I would say yes to your question.
Continue
Um,
before I say something that'll mess me up.
so um, now I guess this kind of brings me to my next question. So a lot of people are saying that the NCAA is dead, right?
Yeah.
Because of the ruling with the NCAA versus Tennessee and Virginia, I believe it was. They beat the NCAA, and a lot of people said, the NCAA is dead. It's the worst governing body in college sports. NCAA is terrible. My question to you now that the NCAA did this with the Power Five conferences, will the NCAA become more relevant with a change like this in college sports?
Well, I mean, they're the ones that made this happen, and you know that high school athletes and everything are going to now go towards the money. I mean, they're going to the money. The NCAA, I don't know if there was ever really a time that the NCAA was irrelevant. There's a lot of fanatics and players, coaches, staff members. You got Charlie Baker as president. You got, I mean, there's so much behind the scenes too. I don't know if here's what I'll say. For those out there saying that the NCAA is quote unquote dead right now because of this, I would say that college athletics, the way that we want it to be and the way that it should be, is dead, right? I mean, could we agree to that?
Yeah,
The NCAA, though, think about this themselves, very much alive right now. They hold all the cards. And honestly, they're putting themselves out there on the map, and I I I don't see how this will negatively affect the NCAA other than ratings, maybe. But other than that, they have a lot of power in their hands right now. Would you agree?
I don't agree with you. No, I don't.
Okay.
Because I mean, I
I mean,
mean,
I guess you could look at it from the standpoint of the players have taken away the power and the players have the power, right? I guess now that I
I
see it
feel
that way, that
I feel like universities have more power than the NCAA. I mean, whenever Tennessee and Virginia beats the NCAA over, you know, ruling that they fought on, the NCAA loses a lot of power there, and just because this, uh, I do think that the NCAA becomes more relevant with a change like this, but as far as power goes, I still think the NCAA is dead in college football. There's not really a governing body over college sports right now. The NCAA is a terrible governing body, but I do think the NCAA becomes more relevant with a change like this. But as far as to say that the NCAA, is very much alive, uh, I don't agree.
okay, and that's fair. I mean, obviously, I voiced my opinion, and we have disagreement. I don't know, man, because there's so many different ways to look at this. I'm gonna be honest. I don't have all the details like the actual experts out there. You know, Pete Thamel puts out an article. I go off what it says. I form a conclusion based on a couple different articles I read. I try to put the pieces together. So, like, I know, like, you know, but I mean, I guess I kind of viewed it like that because of like I don't know how I viewed it that way, but you make a good point that the players have the power because they're the ones that wanted this. The players wanted to get paid. They're getting paid now. They're already getting paid with NIL deals, sneaker deals, and all this stuff, right? You know, all these brands out there. Now they're going to get paid to go play college football and everything. And the NCAA probably running around with their hair on fire right now, actually.
Yeah. My question is, will some college athletes get paid more than college coaches? Can you see a world where that is
We're
possible
gonna
now?
hope and pray. We better hope and pray it doesn't get to that level. Because I'm gonna tell you what, that listen, part of why Saban retired, probably part of why I'm gonna make a bold take here. We do that on the touchdown show. Dabo Swinney, another now he can whine and complain all he wants to about stuff, but let's be real about Dabo. He doesn't do a good job of adapting to the changes of college football. He just doesn't. Nick Saban found a way to do it a little bit with like the portal and everything, but look at Dabo. Brought in no transfers this year. You imagine if they start paying guys at Clemson, and I guarantee you this, Mayhem. Do we know if the head coaches get a say in this? Does it come down to athletic directors? Is it NCAA or bust? Or like, I mean, Dabo's not going to put up with it. I don't even know what would your take be on Kirby Smart. How would these elite coaches that recruit so well, some of them not named Dabo, even use the portal really well? Now their players want money outside of just getting some NIL deal with like McDonald's or a sneaker brand or whatever. How would they react?
Well, they do have a cap of $20 million, so I don't think one player in particular is going to get like, because right now Kirby Smart's making
No,
like
no, no. But look, if it's like it's gonna, you know it, and I know it. It's going to have to be more than one player getting all this pay for play stuff or asking for these deals. They're not. I don't think they're going to let that fly. If it's one player, it's one player. I mean, if Jalen Milrow goes up to Kalen DeBoer and says, "Hey, I'd like $1 million today," he could say yes or no, and if he says no, well, Jalen Milrow might transfer out. Using him as an example, I don't think Jalen Milrow has that heart really, but he's a big
now.
believer in that thing.
Okay,
But we'll see.
now now we're getting to the meat and potatoes of this, because you mentioned the transfer portal, and I did not have this in my set of questions, but
Okay.
we're gonna roll along with this. How does this affect the transfer portal now? Because let's just say Georgia offers, and Georgia's my favorite team, obviously, if you can't tell already, but Georgia offers a player, to be an employee of their university. I'm
Mhm.
assuming that a contract is going to be made, because, and let's just say they do a 3 year I mean, number one, are they going to do multi-year contracts, or are they just going to do year-to-year contracts because of the transfer portal? That is what I want to know. How, once all this
Oh,
gets
that's
out,
good.
because with the NIL deals, the universities was not a part of it, right? So
Right.
you can take somebody's NIL deal and you can still hit the transfer portal, but this, you are an employee of the university now, right? Uh,
Maybe somewhere in that contract, it might say you have to live out your contract for two, maybe even maybe out of 4 year school, you got to do it for 4 years and you can't leave because it's in the contract. You make a good point there.
but my question is, are they going to be allowed to put that in contracts because of the transfer portal?
Well, if you put it in contracts, don't you take away the portal basically? And then, like, I'm not saying like take it away, but I mean it it kind of loses its value a little bit. I don't know if they're going to be allowed to put that in contracts. That's something that we're going to have to wait and see and listen to all the experts out there. By the way, in case you guys are curious, we're not experts, but we're just football fans that kind of voice our opinion. But we'll have to listen. We'll have to sit back and listen and watch this unfold even further, Mayhem, because I'm sure that's going to come up very soon.
Yeah, because I'm assuming, right, that they're just going to do year to year contracts. Um, like you give uh Carson Beck. I'm gonna just use Carson Beck for example.
Mhm.
You hire Carson Beck to the University of Georgia. You pay Carson Beck $2 or $3 million, and then the NIL pays Carson Beck maybe $1 million or whatever it is. So he's making roughly $4 or $5 million in total. And the contract says, okay, you have the 2024, 2025 season. You have to play that 1 year. You cannot, obviously you can't go to any other school because you can't transfer. But I'm assuming that the transfer portal is still going to be as open as it always is. You can hit the transfer portal, but I'm assuming that these contracts that these universities make are going to be on a year to year basis, because I don't think that university wants to put, because this is a business, right? They don't want to make multiple year contracts and then now they're in legal battles with the player and it just gets in a mess, right? So yeah, I think maybe these contracts are going to be year to year based, and because I think the portal is definitely still going to be alive here.
For
Um,
sure.
Go ahead.
I was going to get to my next question for you unless you wanted to go, but
Go ahead.
okay. Yeah, so I look at this. I kind of came up with this here, but it's kind of crazy that this happens not even a week after the whole Jane and Rashada mess with Florida. Do you think that that played some sort of a factor? And do you think with all that, did Florida mess this up for us too?
Well, whenever you say mess up, I don't think this is a mess up. I think, like I said before, I think that this should have been the first thing that happened. I think the universities should have hired these players to become employees of the university first. And then maybe a couple years down the road, give name, image, and likeness brand deal, like you said, like sneakers or commercials or stuff like that, to the players. I think this should have came first. If you want the player to be paid for play, I think this should have came first, and then the NIL comes second. But we still get the same outcome. We got both of them. And I think this is a good move. They do have a salary cap on this, like I said, $20 million, per university. So it ain't like a university can share revenue up to whatever they want. They do have a cap, $20 million. NIL is pretty much the same as it was last year. I don't think there's really no big changes with NIL. There's no cap on NIL, but as far as getting paid by the university, there is a cap of $20 million, and I think I just lost track of my thoughts, but I think I do like this, and I know what I was going to say. Sorry about that. I don't think this was a direct cause or a direct effect of the Jaden Rashada thing. I think this was inevitable thing that was going to happen, right? whenever we came out with NIL, I think that the very next thing that people thought of was this, right? And I think this was bound to happen. We didn't know when it was going to happen, but we knew that this was going to happen, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that the Jaden Rashada thing with Florida and Miami and Georgia and all that. I don't think that had anything to do with um, this becoming reality. I think this was going to become a reality regardless of that situation. But speaking of situations, should the NCAA allow Jeremy Pruitt to coach in college football again?
Oh,
What you think?
well, I mean, he messed up trying to pay players to come to Tennessee at a time where they were not paying players. They didn't even have NIL yet. You go back, this was even like, what was it, 2019? Pre COVID? I mean, come on, man. I would say, yeah, give him a second shot. I don't think he was a good coach at Tennessee, but, he knows defense, he knows football. I think bring him back as a coordinator, maybe a head coach somewhere. Maybe if the SEC wanted to hire him somewhere, that's fine too. But I mean, at this point, what's it matter? What's he going to get away with cheating with, other than if you go and try to pull a Michigan? You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
at this point, like trying to pay players under the table, like just do it publicly at this point because it's fixing to go public.
Correct. In case somebody does not know about the Jeremy Pruitt, he was head coach at the University of Tennessee from 2018 to 2020. Jeremy Pruitt was received a 6-year show cause order for what the NCAA Committee on Infractions termed aggravated violations during his tenure as the Tennessee ball coach. Pruitt and several members of his volunteers were charged with 18 NCAA violations that encompassed more than 200 individual fractions involving 29 recruits and their families and 10 active players that occurred, like I said, from 2018 to 2020. Among the charges were impermissible cash and benefits totaling more than $60,000, as well as recruiting during the NCAA mandated COVID-19 dead period. All right. So with that being said, um, uh, with that being said, if Pruitt is hired by a college football program, he automatically has to sit out 1 year, which makes it nearly impossible for a college football program to hire him. Right. Um, so I think they should lift that ban. I do believe that they should give Jeremy Pruitt another shot. Now that all this is, pretty much legal now. Also, they are paying Division I athletes dating back to 2016, so they are back paying athletes money to receive a share as part of the settlement class. And I think that they should do the same thing with Jeremy Pruitt. I think they need to um, pretty much you know, right their wrongs. I guess you could say. And I know that Jeremy Pruitt, did wrong, and he should be punished. But now that all this is legal and you're back paying college athletes, might as well go ahead and let Jeremy Pruitt coach college football again, and lift that ban that he has. Right?
Yeah, because what's he gonna get away with at this point? You can cheat for free now, and without paying a penalty. you know,
Yeah. So I
for
do
free.
think. I
I
mean,
like that.
I do think that Jeremy Pruitt should definitely have that ban lifted off of him, and we should see him back in college sports.
Yep.
He shouldn't have to sit out a year to be a college coach again because, like the article said that I read, that pretty much makes it impossible for a college football program to hire a coach because whenever you hire a head football coach, you want him to get in with the players and start coaching football. You don't need your coach to sit out for a whole year, right? That
Right.
would be tragic for the program. It would set the program back, is what I'm trying to say.
Send
Yeah.
them back to the Stone Age for sure. I mean, that would like just ruin them. We're real quick before we move on. I did want to ask one last question. You're the NCAA president, Charlie Baker. You, well, I don't know, man. I mean, it kind of put my foot in my mouth with this one because, like, we kind of touched on it earlier. I was gonna ask how you would handle those like critics out there who would criticize decision making in this whole process of paying players. But I think we kind of answered that earlier in terms of like, you know, we they the NCAA is at a standstill with these athletes. I mean, I, help me out here, man. Like,
I mean, pretty much, like I said earlier, that the NCAA, became more relevant with a change like this with college sports. But I still think the NCAA is dead. I still believe that the NCAA really has no power. Uh, right now in college football, yeah, they might have a little bit of power, but it's pretty much the NCAA. This is the best way I can explain it. The NCAA is like a joke, right? The best way I can explain this is, you're at your job, right? And you have a supervisor that, you know, I guess shows favoritism, and eventually, you're the people that your supervisor is supervising, the workers, right? They're going to get tired of that favoritism, and they're not going to respect the supervisor no more, and they're going to push around that supervisor, and eventually that supervisor is just going to become a joke, and not really have any that supervisor won't be respected no more, right? The same thing with the NCAA. The NCAA has, um, you know, not really been a great governing body for college sports. They you know they give a punishment to one school, and then another school they give a lesser punishment for the same exact crime. They've had tons of problems with the NCAA governing college sports, and there's plenty of examples out there. Um, so with that being said, us fans and even the universities has pretty much made a joke out of the NCAA, especially with the last time the NCAA, Tennessee and Virginia versus the NCAA, with the NCAA's ruling, Tennessee and Virginia won that case, which pretty much killed the NCAA. But yes, I do think that the NCAA becomes a little bit more relevant with a change like this in college sports. But people are going to say inevitably this was going to happen anyway. So NCAA is still dead. So that's as good as I can get there. But I got one more question on my list. Do you think that this will help minimize opt outs for this bowl season?
Well, considering that um, you're being paid to go out there and play, well, I, I don't know because it might, like it might, but it might not. On one hand, you have, well, I'm still getting paid to be a college athlete. I don't hurt myself before the NFL. But also, do you get paid a little bit more if you end up starting and playing on the field? Oh, I'm going to take the extra money. Damn, you get paid a little bit extra.
Well, this is how I see it. You get hired by this university, right?
Hmm.
And I'm assuming that these contracts are going to be year to year contracts, and they're going to be hired by the university, and they're going to become employees of the university to play football, to entertain us fans on television, right? They're going to become pretty much pro athletes at this point.
Yeah,
Um, they're going to be paid by the universities as employees. In them contracts, they're probably going to say, "Hey, you need to play in the bowl games." You would think they would, anyways, because I am of the belief that these universities are going to open insurance policies on these players, right?
yeah,
So like you were saying about the NFL, like, oh, I'm gonna save myself just in case I get injured in the NFL. Then okay, well, you don't have a leg to stand on because we just opened up a multi-million dollar insurance policy on you. So if you get hurt and don't make it to the NFL, then you will be pretty much good for life with this insurance policy, right? That we pulled out on you. So with that being said, you need to uh, play in this bowl game because we're counting on you um, for this bowl win. And I think that will make bowl season more exciting because you're going to get to see these players still, still playing after the regular season, and you're going to have something to cheer for. And we can finally stop hearing that these bowl games are meaningless, right? So but I do think that you're still going to have opt outs, of course. But I am of the belief that it will minimize the opt outs for bowl season. And I think it will, ultimately make bowl season a little bit more exciting.
for sure. I do. I do agree with you there. Before we get out of here, I don't know if you have anything else left for the show, but I did mention earlier that I wanted to get your reaction to something. Do you have anything else before we get to that?
Did you want to end the show off of that with that?
No, no, no. I got one more thing I definitely wanted to get your reaction to.
Yeah,
But
I wanted to talk about something, but if you
we can talk
if you
about it still, but I want to go ahead and get your thoughts on this.
all right, go ahead.
All right. What do you say down on the plains? It wasn't but 11 years ago. Mayhem, do you remember the name? Well, what if I told you there goes Davis? What comes to mind?
The kick six,
What
Alabama.
if I told you his son is fixing to go to Auburn in like 4 years?
Hey, if that's where he wants to
Look at
go,
this.
yeah, Auburn extends.
2028 running back, Chris Davis the third.
Yeah,
This, I mean, I was making jokes the other day that I felt old, but what do you say to this?
Well, that does make someone like me and you feel old. Yeah, but obviously we're still young. But yeah, whenever I think about that, I think that hey, if he wants to go to Auburn, then go to Auburn. It would be very hilarious if he, I don't even know if he's committed because that's 2028. I don't even know if this guy is, Davis is actually committed to Auburn. But
Well, here's the
um,
thing. Here's the thing. He's not committed, but also you can't even view his class or those recruits on 247. You can't view them yet. So you can't
right,
even pull up his profile anywhere. But it's definitely news to me. I was laughing there. I said, "How?" Like I know like how like Chris Davis Senior. Obviously made decisions in his life, but I mean, it's so weird. Like it's by the time this guy is a freshman running back at Auburn or wherever he ends up. Let's not put labels on him yet. It's amazing. It's only going to be 15 years since Chris Davis ran it back on Alabama. Like, isn't that crazy?
yeah, that
I
is
mean,
very
not even
crazy.
2 decades. Not even 2 decades.
I think that is very crazy.
Yeah. So, anyway, I
Um,
just want to get your thoughts on that.
yeah, so I wanted to play something, and I wanted to get your
Okay.
permission first because we are streaming on both channels. But I've seen a lot of people react to this, and um, I'm like almost 100% sure that we won't get copyrighted for this. It's just a trailer. I wanted to react to the college football 25 official reveal trailer for the video game. But if you don't,
Mhm.
that's okay. I'll do it on my own channel, on my own time. But I thought
I
that would
would
be
do it because EA is a big, and I personally don't want to get shut down over EA. So I would say react on your own time if that's fine.
okay. That's fine. That is completely
Yeah.
fine. I
You
do
haven't
want to.
watched it yet?
I mean, I have watched it, but I wanted to, like pause it and talk about it and stuff like that. But talk about
Oh
some of the
yeah.
graphics. But can I share? I can share this though. This is an article. I can share this. Um,
Yeah.
let's share this real quick. This is some of the stuff that is has been revealed uh, for the college football 25 video game. The first thing that pops up is the real player's jersey. So this is they're going to have the actual names on the back of jerseys of the players that will be receiving, some NIL efforts um, to be in the game. I think it's a $600 payment. And for the ones that are going on social media and doing that stuff, I think they're going to also be paid a little bit more. But the real jersey players are going to be the players' names. The real players' names are going to be on the back of jerseys. What you think about that?
I like it. I mean, that's what they do in Madden, and I'm not saying it needs to be like Madden, but I think that you want to definitely make video games like this realistic as possible.
Yeah, for sure. Just like this article says, it's similar to Madden, which has a relationship with the NFL Players Association. Um, well over 10,000 college football players have signed with its NIL initiative. So most rosters should be accurately represented when the game releases in July. I know the Manning son did not accept the invite to the college football game. He said he wants to focus more on being a college football player and not being in a video game. So that is unfortunate that he would say something like that. But the next thing is traditions take center stage. So the big thing about college football versus Madden, and this is what really brought me into loving the college football games, is the traditions, right? And they are going to keep representing that in this college football 25. It says it is clear that EA Sports is trying to create such as an authentic experience as possible. It says EA Sports is leaning hard into the college football's um, pretty much the traditions, right? Pre-game rituals, live mascots, and rivalry trophies um, were interspected all throughout the trailer. And here's some of the nods that we noticed. So some of the stuff that they noticed was the Clemson's Howard's Rock, Notre Dame's Play Like a Champion Today sign, LSU's Win Bar, pregame flyovers, with the jets flying over, Wyoming
Yeah,
Steamboat statue, um, Texas A&M's 12th man towel, Texas's live mascot Bevo, Wake Forest mascot
nice.
the Deacon riding a motorcycle, USC Trojans stabbing a sword into the ground at midfield, Penn State's whiteout, Alabama's turnover belt. What you think about that?
Yes, yes, bring it. Bring it.
The
It's better than a
Florida
turnover chain, my
the
opinion.
the Florida's Gator Chomp, the Oregon
Uh-huh.
Ducks riding a motorcycle,
I never
um,
understood that.
and then the Ilbuck Trophy awarded to the winner between Illinois and Ohio State, and the Paul
Mhm.
Bunyan's Axe, Wisconsin and Minnesota. So them are a lot of things that were noticed in that trailer there, and I'm sure we're going to get a whole lot more. With that being said, the next one
Scroll,
is
oh, I
the
guess you're fixing to get to it there. Yeah.
the next one is Group of Five gets its time in the sun and snow.
Mm.
College Football 25 will include all 134 FBS programs after all. In fact, the trailer even opens with a shot of Boise State's iconic blue field. Wyoming features heavily as the video progresses. There's a brief shot of the Cowboys taking field for a game in the snow, suggesting that the college football 25 will have a dynamic weather based on the university's location. So there is a brief clip where Washington is taking field in the rain. So just like we got in the earlier versions of 2014 game, there will be weather changes based off of location and stuff like that. New conference alignments on display. Okay, this is what I'm curious about. But it says the latest wave of conference realignment saw several schools take a new home. Won't take effect until July 1st. But whenever College Football 25 releases 18 days later, it says the reveal gave us a look at some of these schools in their new digs. The SEC patch is visible on both Texas and Oklahoma jerseys. What's your initial thoughts on that? What you think?
It's updated with the times. I like it.
Also, in the Big 12, Florida State running back Roydell Williams carries the ball against California in a game that now has ACC implications because Cal is joining the ACC with Florida State. Yes, Florida State, you're still in the ACC. Even a video game knows that.
Uh-huh.
And it says even Army, after 2 decades of independence, is joining the American Athletic Conference. Hence, why the digital version will be playing East Carolina. My question.
Nice.
So I think
I
this
like
is
it.
pretty much it. Um, My question with the new conference alignments, right? And I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing because it's starting to do commercials and stuff. I don't care about that. But my question is, oh, also I want to show y'all this. How ugly is this?
Hold on. Mine's messing up a little bit. Give me a second. Oh, the cover? I want the GOAT edition with Nick Saban on it.
How ugly? Well, I don't. I'm gonna be honest. How ugly is that cover? That is ugly. You mean to tell me we have not
It's
had?
only ugly. Yeah.
You mean to tell me we have not had a college football video game in over 10 years, and all we get is that?
Yeah.
That's what you give us? That's wild. That's buck wild, if you ask me. I think they should
So
have done.
are you upset about that then, Mayhem?
I am upset about that, and I'm gonna tell you some of my. Let's do this to end the show. Let's do this. I am a big college football video game gamer, right? I love college football video games. I loved them ever since I was a kid. Um, Here's my question to you, Ballard, right?
All
Um,
right.
let's do some college football 25 video game wishes, right? So, my first wish for this game is we were talking about the conference realignment in the video game, but it did not specify if we can change the schools. So, like, let's just say, we can put Army back as an independent, or we can move, let's just say, Florida State to a different conference, or we can move Clemson to a different conference. Can we do that in the game? Can we manually move them to different conferences, or does the teams have to stay put? My wish would be that we would be allowed to move the teams to different conferences, like we saw in the NCAA 14 video game, where we were able to move different teams to different conferences. That's one wish that I have for this football game. Do you have any wishes?
Trying to think. Do you remember mascot mode where you could play as your mascots on the football field?
Yes, I do. I do
I
remember
hope that's
that.
in there, man, because I thought that was pretty cool. I loved
Yeah,
seeing a bunch of big owls and then Aubie the Tigers and Iron Bowl rivalry. So I thought that was cool.
yeah. Also, another one for me is dynasty mode, right? Um,
Yeah.
building your dynasty.
Or Road to Glory.
Road to Glory has to be in there. But here's my wish: do not make us pay more money to get better at Dynasty mode. Do not become Madden. Do not make us buy in-game stuff to help build our team. I do not want that. I don't care. EA, you're already rich. So don't make us po people have to pay extra money so that our dynasty can become better. I do not want that to happen, okay? I want dynasty mode the same way it was in 2014, okay? NCAA 14. Yes, I want the graphics to be better. Yes, make the atmospheres feel more important, more prestige. You can do all that stuff. Do not have in-game purchases. Do not. Nah. Your thoughts?
I agree.
Because I don't want to pay $9.99 to upgrade my player.
Right.
I want to be able to
I mean, we
upgrade my
waited
player.
10 years for a video game. We saved up 10 years for a video game. The least I can do is get rid of the payments on the game.
Yeah, I don't want the. I do not want the in-game purchases. Now, if you want to do the Ultimate
Yeah.
Team, I'm gonna be honest. If you want to do Ultimate
That's what I
Team,
was
and
thinking of. Yeah.
if you want to do
Go ahead. I
Ultimate,
was thinking about something earlier.
if you want to do Ultimate Team, and you want to charge people $20 per Ultimate Team player, then go ahead, because guess what? Matthew is not playing that. Matthew's playing the Road to Glories. Matthew's playing the the Dynasty modes. Okay, that's what Matthew's going to be playing. So if you want to do the Ultimate Team and charge people $20-$30 for that, go right ahead, because I have no interest in it. Okay. So if you want to make your money on the Ultimate Team just like you do in Madden. If you want to do that, go ahead. But I do not want a reskin of Madden. I want college football, the game, to be a monster of its own. Okay, I want to feel like that college football 25 is actually college football. I do not want it to feel like I'm playing Madden, right? Because I growing up, I've always loved NCAA better than I did um, Madden. So I want to feel that same way whenever I get this video game. So, but anyways, I think we had a great show. I think we talked a lot about the topic at hand, and we talked about a couple other subjects. I think we got some good topics in. So, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and close the show out. I really appreciate Ballard doing this. He left amazing baseball game, SEC baseball game, to come be with us tonight. So please go on the
Yep.
Ballard Sports Media Show and give a thumbs up to him and subscribe to him. He's on his way to 2K. Okay. He's doing this for you.
Yep.
He left a SEC baseball game to come here and entertain y'all with me. So I appreciate that, and I hope y'all appreciate that. Leave a
Yeah,
thumbs up.
y'all owe me.
Yeah, leave a thumbs up for your boy
Y'all owe me big time. It's
Ballard.
tournament week.
Yeah, for sure. So,
Yeah.
um, my last
Thanks,
words.
man.
Yeah, my last words is going to be, love y'all, mean it, and go dogs.
I love you guys. Thanks so much. And can I get a
Roll Tide!